To learn about this, this is a scientific chart to show you what radiation is in a very simple way. Alright? So in radiation, there's only two categories. One is ionizing, and another one is non-ionizing. Alright? So today for emGuarde, we're going to focus on the non-ionizing radiation area, which is the blue one. And now, when we talk about this, these are normally all the electronic gadgets that you guys are using. I'm talking about the laptops, the handphones, right, and all electrical appliances in your house. Now, these items is emitting non-ionizing radiation. Okay? Now, the ionizing radiation, on the other hand, is talking about those nuclear plants. Nuclear, we're talking about the gamma rays, we're talking about the CT scan machines in the hospital. It's a different thing altogether. Okay? So for today, we're focusing on the non-ionizing. Now, there is a debate, and I found that there is an argument in the market, and a lot of scientists and professionals, they deem that the non-ionizing radiation is actually not harmful. Any one of you here, you have read through some articles saying that the NIR is not harmful. Anyone? Show of hands. Okay? So now, for those people who are new today, you might be able to bump into questions like this. They will tell you, according to the Google or the internet, they say that NIR, which is non-ionizing radiation, is deemed as not harmful to the human. But what they are not telling you is, it is not harmful if, let's say, you're exposing at a short period of time. But what they are not telling you is long-term exposure. Okay? Now, let me ask you a very simple question. Today, do you use your handphone for just 30 minutes a day? No. Anyone here? Just less than 30 minutes? Show of hands. There is one. Mr. Daniel. Okay, then another one. Now, anyone here who use your handphone more than 2 hours a day? Show of hands. I want you to look around your room. More than 2 hours a day. Be honest. Okay? More than 2 hours a day. Look at you. Okay? Now, for those people who use your handphone more than 2 hours a day, means you're making lots of sales. Because when you don't use your handphone, how do you communicate with your downlines? Is that correct? Okay? So when you're forced to use your handphone for more than 2 hours a day, you are considered as high risk because long-term exposure and long duration exposure as well. Okay? So now for the NIR, I've got something to actually assist you to fight those negative comments that it's not harmful. Now, documentation always beats conversation. Now, this is from PubMed. No one can challenge PubMed because PubMed is basically a publication from the governments in the United States. Okay? So everyone goes to this for articles like this. Now, we found out that back in 2017, all right, by Dr. McDonald's. Familiar name, right? Okay? The doctor that discovered Rouleau formation during exposure to EMR. Now, back in 2017, she discovered, the screen is not on. Can I get that screen as well? That screen is not. Yeah. Okay? Now, the title is, Can Non-Ionizing Radiation Cause Cancer? That's the title of the article. Okay? I want you to look at this. According to Dr. McDonald, she mentioned in this article that there are evidence of free radical damage has been repeatedly documented among humans, animals, which is the dogs that you love, the cats that you love, plants, and microorganisms. Alright? I want to read further. This is interesting. Now remember earlier I was talking about NIR, non-ionizing radiation. Okay? Now look at what she said. She mentioned that NIR interferes with the oxidative repair mechanism, resulting in oxidative stress, damage to cellular components, including DNA, and damage to cellular processes, leading to cancer. It's not from me, it's from PubMed, by the way, alright? It's talking about NIR, non-ionizing radiation. Now, free radicals damages explains the increased risk of cancer associated with mobile phone use, alright? And residential exposure to power line. Now, when we talk about power line, there's a very personal story that I would like to share. About close to 30 years ago, my family actually moved to this place, and that old house of mine is away from the power line, approximately about 60 meters away. It's very near. Alright? And we moved in to that property for less than 1.5 years. That was when my mom began to develop constant fever. So at first we thought that it was dengue fever caused by the mosquitoes. And eventually my dad brought her to a big hospital to do a test out. That was back in 1992. And the doctor diagnosed her with acute leukemia. And from my family history, there is no track record of leukemia. But the only thing that I can think of is I actually moved to that new place. And we stayed there for 1.5 years, and that's what happened. So eventually, when I grew up, I do more research, and this article proved me right. It says that when you live or residential exposure to power lines, there is a risk. Okay? So I sort of got my answer here, and that's the reason why I devoted myself 6.5 years of my time to research into this topic and became the product specialist for this area. Alright? So now, RF transmitters, including mobile phones, and okay, so this is a PubMed article. It's for you to fight those smart people who is telling you that NIR is not harmful. So far, so good. Yes. Are you liking this? Yes. Is this important? Yes. Very good. All right. Now we don't have much time. I'm going to play this short video for 2 minutes, and later on, when you go back to your house, you can watch it on YouTube. All right. There is a full-fledged video. Now, this guy, Mr. Jimmy. Unfortunately, he's no longer around. Alright, he passed away. And before he passed away, he managed to shoot this video, and I found it very powerful. I want you to listen to him for just 2 minutes. Can we do that? Yes. Alright, let's play the video for 2 minutes.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, City Attorney, City Manager, ladies and gentlemen. Cell phones cause cancer. That's what numerous doctors and scientists from all around the world have been warning us about for years. On May 31st, 2011, the International Agency for Research on Cancer, part of the World Health Organization, put out a report that says your chance of becoming a cancer victim doubles once you hit the 10-year mark of using cell phones for a minimum of 30 minutes per day. And yes, there are industry-funded studies that tell us not to worry about cell phones, or that it'll take another 20 or 30 years of research before we know whether cell phones cause cancer. In essence, they're telling us to treat cell phones like cigarettes 30 years ago. I, for one, happen to know that cell phones do cause cancer because everything we're being warned about by the World Health Organization's report and prestigious university professors like Dr. Deborah Davis fits me. I'm an attorney. From 2001 to 2011, I used to use cell phones a lot more than just 30 minutes a day. I always held it in my left hand, up against my left ear, and I carried them around in my suit jacket's inner pockets. Lo and behold, if you were standing close to me, you'd see that there's a scar on my left hand, the result of nerve tumor removal surgery. If you can see the scar on the left side of my head, that's the result of brain cancer surgery on August 23rd, 2011. That's glioblastoma multiforme level 4. On top of that, I have an MRI that shows a tumor at my aortic bifurcation, right where my cell phone sat in my suit jackets. So that's 1, 2, 3 results of having a cell phone against my body. If you don't agree, just read through the booklet that was in the box when you bought your cell phone. If you have the time to dig through those 200 or 300 pages, somewhere in there you'll see that your cell phone emits a type of non-ionized radiation into your body. Radiation that they prefer.
So, now can you hear me? Okay? Testing? Now, Jimmy mentioned something about non-ionizing radiation. It's got something to do with cell phone, and he's the one who goes through all this. He's got 3 different tumors and cancers in his body. So unfortunately, shortly after this debate, he passed away. I think 1 or 2 years after this. Alright, but what he left behind is a legacy. He's actually telling you or sending out a very important message about 13 years ago, warning the people that something big is coming on. And today, anyone in this room, you don't use this device. Any one of you don't have this. It's not possible because we are so reliant on this. And if we need this, means we need protection as well at the same time. Okay, the reason why Energic sees this as big potential, and they took this technology as part of its product list to market it worldwide, globally as well. Okay, next. So now everything makes sense. In your presentation slides, every time you will do this. WHO, back in 2011, they said something about this. They said that, the electromagnetic field coming from radio frequency is possibly carcinogenic to human. And there is an increased risk of glioma and malignant type of brain cancer associated with wonderful news. So this thing came out 1 year before the atomic Jimmy, said the statement, all right, in the public congress. All right? So it happens about the same year as well, which is about 13 years ago, 13, 14 years ago. Okay? So now everything makes so much sense. Okay? So today we are looking into non-ionizing radiation, and emGuarde offers the protection in the non-ionizing radiation spectrum. Are we clear? Okay? Next. So how does it work? How does it work as a technology? Now, we know that the non-ionizing spectrum can be categorized into three simple, I actually make it simple for everyone, okay? There are three energies to be found, radiation energy, in the non-ionizing spectrum. How many? Okay, so we just have to understand the three. So the first one is usually coming from the power lines. All right, the electric field and the magnetic field coming from the power lines. Are the translation okay? Am I speaking too fast? All good? Show signs? Okay, good. Now, the second radiation energy usually comes from transmission devices, like a Wi-Fi routers, your handphone that emits frequencies, okay? All right? 5G towers, all right? Transmission devices, cell towers. So these are the first two energy that lurks around your environment, okay? However, there is another energy that a lot of people, they are missing out, okay? Now let's look at this one. So I've already explained to you the first two energy. The first one is coming from the power line. The second one is coming from antennal devices or machineries. Okay? Now, however, the first two energy, which is number one and number two, it actually produces the third energy. And the third energy is deemed as the byproduct of the first two energy. And it is called the electromagnetic noise radiation. Something that your ears cannot hear, but it can be picked up by a very sophisticated tools, okay? Which is the SDR devices that we've been suggesting you to use, all right? So now this third energy, if I were to put it into an animation, it looks something like that. So this is your typical house, your living environment. When you turn on the power box, this is a power switch box. When there is electricity supplying to all these appliances, it produces the first energy, okay? Now, when you turn on your Wi-Fi router, it produces the second energy. So the second energy can be coming from inside your house or outside of your house, which is cell towers, the 4G, 5G towers. So what's so good? All right. Now, these two energy, again, they will release the third byproduct in the form of electromagnetic noise radiation. Now, these are the leakages. We call it the lost noise. The leakages from the power lines, the leakages from the Wi-Fi signals. Okay? So the developer of the emGuarde realized that these lost noise or these leakages has got something to do with the negative effects of radiation. It actually affects your body. It actually slows down the microcirculation of the blood. And it actually potentially causes the rouleau formation, which is a research done by Dr. Magda Hallis 13 years ago. All right? So the R&D of the emGuarde begins back in 2009. How long ago? 16 years ago. They discovered that this electromagnetic noise radiation can potentially cause the negative effects of radiation to the human body. Okay? So what they did was, they set up this emGuarde, they programmed it in such a way that this emGuarde is able to suppress targeted electromagnetic noise radiation, hence giving you the benefits. Alright? Now, anyone of you here, you have got positive experience after using the emGuarde? Show of hands. Positive experience after using the emGuarde. Look around you. For those of you who are first time, right? Just look around. These are the people who have been using the emGuarde for more than 3 months, 6 months, or even a year. Okay? Thank you so much. So if let's say there are people in the room showing up hands, having positive experience, it means that the developer of the emGuarde did something correct. They are suppressing something which is correct. That's the reason why you're getting the results. Okay? So when you turn on the emGuarde, this is what happens. It suppresses targeted electromagnetic noise radiation. Okay? So this is a summary. You can read it for yourself, it's on the website. emGuarde covers up to 4-meter radius, and it utilizes harmonic frequencies to effectively suppress targeted electromagnetic noise radiation. Okay? So this is, in a nutshell, how emGuarde works. Now the next video is a more technical video, and we are about to showcase to you, in this video, we are actually bombarding the environment with electromagnetic noise radiation. So initially, when we turn on the tester, the environment is neutral, but there is a really background radiation going on. But this time, we add on more radiation, we turn on an LED light bulb. Okay? So we activate an LED light bulb to add in more radiation to the environment, and just to show you how emGuarde has the ability to suppress it up to a 4-meter radius. Okay? Let's take a look at the video. Alright, so in this section of the video, I'm going to show you how emGuarde has the ability to alleviate the radiation from this LED light bulb 4 meters away from this antenna. Okay? So now, first of all, I'd like you to see the screen. From the software itself, everything's clear before I turn on the LED. Now, as soon as I turn on the LED, as you can see, you can actually see that the noise field from the EM radiation comes back, and it's actually showing in this blue curvy line. Okay? So now, I'm going to invite my team to take this emGuarde away from me for about 4 meters, okay, in radius. Okay, now, I'm going to invite my team to power on the emGuarde. Just plug the USB-C, leave it on the table. Now, as soon as the emGuarde is on, as you can see, the frequency spectrum from the SDR software is being cleared away. Okay? Now, as soon as I unpower the emGuarde, please remove the power line from the emGuarde, just unplug. Wait for about 2 to 3 seconds. The radiation from the LED comes back immediately. Now let's do another control test by powering up the emGuarde again. Please put the USB-C power cable into the emGuarde. There you go. And immediately, as you can see, everything is cleared away. Can you pause the video? And this is to show you that emGuarde works effectively. So this is a short video to showcase that emGuarde harmonizes at least up to 4 meters in radius. Okay? So it's a very technical video, but to show you that within the range of 4 meter radius, it harmonizes the environment effectively as well. Okay? Now, so now this is the third one. I deem this point as the most important one because most of the customers, they do not buy the emGuarde just because of the function or what it can do. They buy into the emGuarde because of the benefits of the emGuarde. What the emGuarde can actually do to the loved ones. Like yesterday, Daniel was sharing together with his daughter a beautiful story of how his daughter actually get benefited from the emGuarde itself. So people actually buy into the benefits. Okay? So again, documentation beats conversation. I'm going to go through quickly. Dr. Megha Havas was the one that appears early on in the PubMed article. Okay? So basically, she's a researcher from Canada, and she's a PhD, of course, and she focuses her work on biological effects of electromagnetic radiation. Now, one of the most shocking discoveries she discovered more than 13 years ago was how radiation have the ability to affect the human blood, which is your red blood cells. Okay? Now let's listen to her. Now, we got this video from YouTube, and it was a very old video. This video was taken back about 13 years ago. Okay, so 13 years ago, she already discovered this. Okay, now let's take a look at the video.
I pricked my finger, placed a drop of blood on a slide, and looked at it under the microscope. This is what I saw. The cells are round, some are separate, and a few are sticking together. Overall, fairly healthy looking blood. This testing was done in a clean electromagnetic environment, and I did not eat or drink before or during testing. I then worked on a computer for 70 minutes and looked at my blood again. This time, the cells are sticking together like stacked coins. This is called rouleau formation. Later that day, I used a cordless phone for 10 minutes and looked at my blood again. And this is what I saw. Very unhealthy looking blood. There are virtually no single cells. Most of the cells are now in rouleau formation. A doctor told me this is what she sees with cancer patients. What I learned is that my blood goes into rouleau formation when I use a computer or a mobile phone. This type of clumping interferes with the release of oxygen and the removal of waste products like carbon dioxide.
The capillaries are so narrow that red cells must squeeze through in single file, showing the importance of their elasticity.
What are the consequences of rouleau formation? Poor circulation resulting in lower oxygen transport to cells and reduced waste removal. What are the symptoms someone may experience? Headaches and fatigue, difficulty concentrating, numbness, tingling, and cold extremities, and possibly heart and blood pressure problems, including risk of stroke.
Okay, now from whatever the symptoms shown on the screen, anyone of you here experience when you hold your phone for about half an hour or 1 hour, you actually feel that your finger begins to numb. Okay, so she mentioned here numbness, all right, and there is headache, fatigue, stuff like that. So due to poor circulation, and all these are related because it's related to rouleau formation as well. Okay. So I'm going to just go straight through the slides. Can we just go straight? So she mentioned that it's able to do something to the blood. Okay, it causes rouleau formation. These are the same pictures that you got from the video itself. Okay? So because of low oxygen transport, it actually affects you and it affects the general well-being as well. Now what if today I tell you that in PubMed, she also mentioned, again, back in 2012, look at this is 2013, okay? She mentioned that EMR, it's able to cause this one, look at that, clumping of the blood, the red blood cell, which is rouleau formation, okay? So again, this thing was again mentioned in the PubMed article as well, back in 2013. So this is for you to use as a reference to show people that this thing is a publication, okay, it's official. Can we pause the video first before I... So today I'm going to introduce to you, the first timer here, a very powerful video. And one of the users of the emGuarde actually took the emGuarde to a test. Okay? He took the emGuarde and put it to test. He went to this clinic, and this medical doctor actually did a before and after test using the user's blood. Okay? So let's take a look at the video and you do your conclusion for yourself. Yes, Amos, you need the mic? Let's welcome Amos. You would like to add on something?